Health. Health should be a big part of it. I'm trying to get this so that if you go back and look at this, you can see the screen. But then I have to stay right here. So you tell me if you're looking at these things, how they're working, so that I might be able to make it better. Like, do I need to stand up here? Or do I need to go farther away? See, it'll follow me. It won't stay on that. It's supposed to follow me. Always wants. If you're going to get into a serious relationship with somebody, you know what you have to do? You have to watch how they react to a slow internet. That'll give you insight into their true personality. Okay? This stuff frustrates me to no end. Okay, healthcare. What else is a part of your worldview? Government. Because you're a healthcare provider, and in our government and in our healthcare, what's being discussed right now in our country? How do we pay for it? What should we pay for? How do we pay for it? So as a doctor, you might have an opinion of that. This whole conversation is really changing the way a lot of medical doctors and chiropractors approach their practice. Whether they want to be in the insurance industry or whether they would have more freedom being outside of the insurance industry. And with that freedom, being able to provide what they feel is better care. So that's a huge part of it, is the economics and the government style of how we do healthcare. I think those should be on there. Government politics, freedom. There's a song from the 70s that says freedom's just another word when you got nothing left to lose. How do you know you're free? What does freedom mean to you? You have to follow certain guidelines in order to practice and be licensed. How much freedom would you like within that license? Or would you like to be told everything that you need to be doing? I'm guessing that since you were drawn to chiropractic at some level, that you have different ideas on freedom than most people have. Because chiropractic generally tends to draw in pretty independent people. And if you want to be self-employed, entrepreneurial type thoughts, entrepreneurial type mindset, you certainly are thinking of freedom in a different context than somebody who goes to work for a company. Right? Not that that's wrong. It's just different. No you. Economics. Right? Independence, I just mentioned. I don't want to depend on anybody. I want to depend on just myself. Well, what about the people in your practice? Do you want them to depend on you for everything regarding their health care? What are you willing to have them depend on you for? I try to teach the people in my practice that you need to think for yourself. Don't expect your medical doctor to tell you everything you do. So if I'm teaching that, would I then expect them to ask me everything that they should do? Or should I want them to learn how to think for themselves about chiropractic and health in general? That would seem to be a little bit more consistent with my message. Don't expect your MD, don't expect your dentist, don't expect your chiropractor or your massage therapist or the trainer at the gym to have all the answers to your health care questions. Maybe you should learn to think about health care for yourself. That way you can be more independent. That way you can be more informed and more educated. What if the medical doctor is saying you got to do it this way? And the chiropractor is saying you have to do it this way? because we think differently, then what does the patient do? Would you like them to process both of those and come to their own conclusion? In my world, that would be ideal. I'm going to give you the information. You got to make your own decision. You have to make your own choice. Just like you here in the classroom. Religion, beliefs, faith, priorities. When are you the number one priority in somebody's life, in your community, as a chiropractor? When will you be at the top of their list? Maybe if they realize preventive care is smart, you'll be at the top of their list. Until they learn that, when they're in pain. And as soon as they feel better, where do you go? Back down. What starts to get above you on the list? Going on vacation. Signing the kids up for piano or karate lessons. I'd rather do that with my money because I'm feeling good. I don't really need to spend my money on you. That's why we have to do some education. I got to make my house payment. I got to make my car payment. I got to get clothes. The kids want to do these things. You're competing with those dollars. When they hurt, easy for me to spend money with you. So you're going to have to communicate a different message from A to Z, beginning to end, if you want them to keep their spine as a priority. And you have to find a way that will make it affordable for them to do that. Know what niche in the marketplace you're going after in the first place. Right? Some communities might be able to afford a better price. Who's responsible for their health? Who's responsible for your health? You are. Period. You're at the age now where mom and dad aren't responsible for it anymore. When you were younger, who was responsible for your health? Mom and dad. When you have kids, you will be responsible for their health. So if you were to come into my practice and want chiropractic care from me, am I responsible for your health? What am I responsible for?
Giving us the education in the schools to live off of.
I'm responsible for educating you about what I do. Good. And what else? Remove the interference. Adjust the subluxation. I can't be responsible for what's causing your subluxation, but I can teach you how you could become subluxated so you could become responsible for that. I don't hold myself responsible for the condition of your muscles to hold the vertebra in position after it gets adjusted. But I'll educate you that you got to have a healthy muscular system in order to do that. So you need to be doing something. Being a couch potato is not going to work. But I don't offer you classes. I'm not going to tell you what stretches to do. But I'll give you the general education so you can become responsible for that. But you may be a doc who does want to be responsible for that. You may give them exercise plans. You may want to give them a massage. You may approach that differently because of your worldview and how you're looking at their health care and your role. So when you see other chiropractors, right, there's the big one, healthcare. When you see other chiropractors and you hear them speaking at seminars where you're going to go, keep in mind that your worldview might not be like theirs, but can I still learn something from them? Or they have a worldview and I want to be exactly like them. Okay, so evaluate that. You don't have to agree with everything everybody tells you, including me. It's there for you to think about and assimilate what's going to make you the doctor you want to be. Your worldview is too important to ignore. Yeah. If there's such a thing as obligation, as knowing, thinking beings, we have an obligation to examine, articulate, refine, communicate, and consciously choose. Consistently apply our worldview. Because we're conscious, thinking, rational human beings, and especially because you're going to be a doctor, you should consistently, consciously apply what you think. Socrates, during his trial for being impious to the Greek gods and corrupting the youth of Athens with his teachings, said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." Now this is Plato talking about his teacher, Socrates. The unexamined life is not worth living. Why am I here? Teleology. Do I have a purpose? How did I get here? Cosmology. Am I just a physical being, or is there more to me than my parts? Metaphysics. Right? Examine your life. Think about these things. You don't have to be one of these philosophers that goes to sit out in the middle of a field and contemplate your navel. Right? But think about how you look at life and then apply your thoughts. I grew up with a worldview that God exists, that God created. I grew up in a house where Dad was an auto mechanic. Take care of things so they don't fall apart. When chiropractic was explained to me as taking care of your body ahead of time, that's what the nervous system does, and there's something about your body that keeps it healthy, that message resonated with both of the big aspects of my growing up. What I was taught religiously and what I was taught through my dad. It made sense. All right? Figure that out for you. So, where does health come from? Where do Americans go for health? Where do you think health comes from? Okay, somebody else. Healthcare providers. That's what they're called, right? A healthcare provider. That means they must give you healthcare. You agree with that? So what does the medical doctor provide you with? Medicine. Drugs. I like the word drugs better. It sounds worse. So that means health comes from drugs. What does the massage therapist give you? Massage. So health comes from a rub. Comes from an elbow. That hurts. Feels good. It's a good hurt. What does the chiropractor give you? An adjustment. So does health come from the adjustment? Comes from within. Something in here. is where health comes from. Is that what most of the people you know think? Family, friends, acquaintances? You have a CVS in your town? Rite Aid, Walgreens. What are some of the other ones? They sell them all at all. The grocery stores sell drugs now too, right? Pick up your prescription. Is that where health comes from? I got a cold, I have an allergy, I go there, I get something, I take it, my symptoms go away. That's where health came from. Do we know anybody who lives like that? Yeah. Yeah. That's what my mom thought, because that's what she was taught by the medical people of her generation. We had 24 foster kids come through our house over the years, in addition to the 3 of us, me and my 2 sisters. And 2 of the foster kids ended up being adopted. And Dad was a working blue-collar man, so money was tight. So if you have a symptom, we go to the medical doctor. What does he do? Gives a prescription. You fill the prescription, you start giving it to whichever of the kids was sick. The symptoms went away. What does a blue-collar family on a budget do? Save it for the next child who has that. And it worked. Health came from the bottle. Or made the symptom go away, but that was the concept of health. I have a different take on that. What does CVS even stand for? Causing vertebral subluxation. Job security, right? Right? Job security. Yeah. Chemistry, altered chemistry can lead to subluxation. But a lot of people that you check in your office, in your practice, there will be a question on your history, your entry form. What medications are you taking? What have you taken in the past? 95% of them are taking stuff. Or have taken stuff. Is that where Americans go to find health? It comes from the gym. Right? But yesterday you did legs, so that's why we have the escalator for you. Because we know you need to rest your legs if you did legs yesterday. Right? But do people do that? Do they think because they go to the gym they have it all covered? You know, I have a little bit of that. Because I go out and ride my bike seriously, I eat whatever I feel like eating. I keep cycling so I can keep eating. A lot. I eat a lot of good food because that's all my wife cooks is good, healthy food. But when she's not around, it's fair game. Whatever's there that I like. Right? And the only way I can keep the weight off is to keep cycling. So I keep doing it. Right? But so fitness is a big part of it for me, but it's not the only thing. But you'll run into people that's all it is. You don't go to the gym and ask the trainer that's giving you the tour, whoever's giving you the tour, and say, which of these is the health machine? Right? You take one of those cadavers and strap them to strap them to the elliptical, it's not going to do them too much good, is it? Something inside has to be activated when you're doing that exercise. You got to work with what's inside. How about the fad diet of the year? What's the big diet these days? If you want to lose weight, you want to get healthy, you have to eat The last one that I heard was really big going through the Sherman students was the paleo diet. People want to lose weight, they do the low carb, high protein diet, whatever the name of that one is. Atkins. Or some variation of it. Or we're doing a cleanse, because that's going to get us healthy. I'm not saying these things are bad, but there's more to health than just the diet, right? If you don't have a slice of triple chocolate cake every week, how could you be healthy? Here's Noreen's vegetarian cafe, and Al's meat truck is crashing into it. That's what he thinks a vegetarian. I see a lot of people, I see a lot of vegetarians judging me because I eat meat. And in between their vegetarian meals, they're all the time eating chips and pretzels. But I guess that's vegetarian. I don't know. I never eat an animal that doesn't eat vegetables. All of the animals I eat something green, so that makes me a vegetarian, right? Diet. People think it comes from diet. Where do you shop? Where it fits on your budget. Is that reality for a lot of families you're going to take care of? Absolutely. Which means you're going to have to price your care for their budget too. Your chiropractic care. I shop at both stores. Right? Actually, my wife shops on the left. I sneak into the store on the right when she's not with me. Right? But you're thinking about health, you're thinking about food, you're thinking about exercise. Everybody knows that, but that doesn't mean they do it. So there's the baby in the womb on the right from the Time Life series, that's very famous picture. On the left, I put that one so you could see roughly where that baby is relative to mama's spine. So that placenta is being nourished by mama's body. Neurologically nourished. And nutrients, right, through the umbilical cord. So you want to take care of that spine when you're pregnant. And you should want to take care of that spine after you're born. But you didn't have a choice in that. Your parents did. My parents couldn't because they didn't know about it. Nobody told them. They didn't really learn about chiropractic until after I started school. And then I would go home for vacations and I would have like vomit chiropractic information on them. You know, meaning it just came out of me so quick and I never stopped. And it was like, whoa, slow down. This is all new to them, but I was jacked up. So you got to find a way to talk to people slowly so they can assimilate it, so they can absorb it. Don't throw it all of them at one time. When I use this to educate people in my practice, I ask them, have you ever heard anybody that saw a baby being born say, wow, that's a miracle? And a lot of people raise their hand. Yes, just the baby being delivered from the mother's body, and if you do it where it's not drug-induced and the mother's body is just contracting and then the baby's there, a lot of people say, wow, that's a miracle. But not everybody raises their hands. So I ask them, well, have you ever seen a mother's body change, a woman's body change over roughly 9 months of pregnancy? And thought, wow, that's just amazing, or that's a miracle. And so then a few more hands come up. Right? Then I'll ask the guys who haven't raised their hands yet, have you ever thought that just you having anything to do with that in the first place is a miracle? And then the rest of the hands come up. Okay? It's not a miracle, in my opinion, if science can explain it. Right? It's just natural. So science can explain how a baby is conceived and how a baby's born. So I get what people mean when they say, wow, that's a miracle. It just means they're in awe. It means, wow, it's wonderment. Right? Even though science can explain that. But I ask them, okay, so if you think that's amazing, if you think that's a miracle, that happens, what happens to the miracle or the amazement once the baby's outside the mother's body? Why do we then think we have to add all these other things to the baby to make it better? Why isn't it good enough? Aside from food. Well, the whole time the baby is inside mom, you can't do anything for it. It just happens, life grows, life is born without any outside input. But then as soon as that baby's born, we think we have to add things to it to make it better, to make it work right. Maybe not. Maybe that's a different worldview. If you think that health comes from inside, and there's something inside that baby that's making it grow, then maybe you don't have to do as much once that baby's born. Maybe you can just sit back and let nature do what nature's going to do. If you look at your lexicon on Schoology, what the innate intelligence of the body is going to do, just let it do. Get out of the way. When does mama, sitting on the couch, eating her ice cream and pickles, says, ooh, I got to make fingernails this week? Doesn't do that. Fingernails just get made. Oh, we got to make a spleen this week. No, the spleen just gets made. Why can't that happen after birth? Right? Sniffle. I'm dealing with something. I think it's the morning October allergies for me, but I don't know with the room cold. Right? But my body is processing. My body is clearing out whatever. I'm not going to take something to make it dry up and stop. It'll heal. What do people say about the cure for a common cold? There is no cure for the common cold, they say, right? Well, then where did the last cold you had go? If the last cold you had is gone, something cured it. So if there's no cure for the common cold, what cured it? Something inside. So we're really big on talking with people about where health comes from. This little guy is going through the museum with mama and something familiar strikes his eye. It's in the baby innately. He didn't read that in a Dr. Seuss book. I thought that was a neat picture. That doesn't apply to my presentation. Here's Dennis the Menace. You didn't know Dennis was a philosopher. He's asking Mom, how does this pill know where to find the place that hurts? I got a tummy ache. Here, take this. How does the pill know to go to the tummy? You got a headache. How does the aspirin know to go to the head? I got tight muscles. I was prescribed muscle relaxers. How does the pill know which muscles are tight? What's the answer to Dennis's question? It doesn't know. Where does the pill go? Everywhere. Everywhere. The muscle relaxer is relaxing all the muscles, not just the one that's tight. Is the heart a muscle? Okay? Is the sphincter a muscle? The one that keeps you from going to the bathroom when you don't want to? We don't want to relax that one. But you're polluting the body. I'm not picking on medicine. We're just thinking about this critically. You're polluting the body with a chemical that the body doesn't need. Only one part of the body needs it. Could we find a better way to look at how we do health? So, to presuppose is to think about something beforehand before you enter into the situation. Maybe your presupposition about chiropractic was, I'm going to enroll at Sherman College and I'm going to learn what it is I need to know to help people with aches and pains. Because that's why people go to chiropractors. And everybody comes out of the chiropractor's office smiling because they feel better. And I don't have to give them drugs to help them feel better. That could be your presupposition about chiropractic. And then you get to first quarter philosophy class and Decken is talking about the body has the ability to heal itself and what's that got to do with back pain? And he's looking at pictures of babies in the womb and what's that got to do with back pain? We all have presuppositions though. My presupposition, because I had no chiropractic experience with getting adjusted when I hurt and then feeling better, my presupposition was based on what I read. The nervous system coordinates everything in your body. You have to take care of it if you want to be healthy. That was my presupposition when I sat down in class. I didn't know anything else about chiropractic. I thought it was just about building wellness. But then I learned how. How we build wellness. What's your presupposition about pain? What are the presuppositions that most of your friends have about pain? There are three. What could people think about pain? All right, that's how to treat it, but what could they think about it? Why would they take the pill? It's bad. So one presupposition about pain is it's bad. What's another one?
It hurts.
Okay. That's what it is, but that's why it's bad. What could another presupposition be? There's something wrong, so it could be good. And the third one is pain just is. I'm not going to judge it good or bad. It's just there. How have you looked at pain in your life? Have you had a presupposition about it? None of us like it. Maybe unless you're a little off balance, then maybe you like it. What does the athlete think about pain? If I don't hurt a little bit when I'm working out, I'm not getting anything out of the workout. So it's good. But too much or the wrong kind could be injuring my body, so it's bad. What about the little baby who puts their hand up on a hot stove that they can't see? What does mom think about pain? It's a lesson. It's good. They'll never do that again. Comes off of there. People have presuppositions. They have presuppositions about who you are and what you do because your sign or your business card says chiropractor. Most of them are going to think you do what? Treat low back pain. You know, this Facebook thing enables you to get in touch, not for you guys because you grew up with it, but for old farts like me, it enabled you to get back in touch with people you went to high school decades ago. And so, people that I hadn't seen in years hear that I'm a chiropractor, and then they start reading, some stuff about chiropractic philosophy, and they're like, chiropractors are philosophers? That was not part of their presupposition. They thought I helped back pain. They didn't think there was a thought process behind it. What's the presupposition of medicine? Your presupposition of drugs might be that they're going to kill you, right? And that's okay. That's a presupposition that you could have. The medical doctor has a presupposition about your body. What is the medical doctor's presupposition about your body? It's missing something. Dang, you got that headache because you're low on Tylenol. We better give you Tylenol. You're having diarrhea because you're low on kaopectate. Let's give you some kaopectate. There's presuppositions. They're doing the opposite of what the body wants to do. Do they think the body's intelligent? Do you as a chiropractor think the body's intelligent? Does the patient think their body's intelligent? We're going to talk about these questions because they're central to healing. They're central to healthcare. Thoughts? Too far out in the ozone? Too weird? Comfortable? Okay? When you start to explain it to people, sometimes you see the light bulb go on in their head. Sometimes you don't. Go tell the next person. Not everybody will be ready for what you have. Okay? We'll pick up with this tomorrow.
Which one? I'm 100% unsure.
No, you have a certain number of days you can spend here, so just keep that in mind. You're good. Travel safe. Laura? Well, theology is what your thoughts are about God. Metaphysics allows for God to exist in the first place.
Do they correlate together?
No, theology might come out of metaphysics, like if you were to put them in a flow chart.
So if you're
Cosmology might be how did the universe get here. Metaphysics might be what's the nature of that universe. And if you think of it including God, then theology would be below that.
That's what I was going to ask. So if your belief about reality includes
God, now we're branching into theology.
Right. Or a thinking person would want to develop that branch.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Metaphysics doesn't have to be God.
Mm-hmm.